Time for Jew and Mexican. It's time for Jew.
I fucked it up. You were doing great. I should never try to get it on.
Yeah, way to hop on my idea, Wilson.
It was great. I just wanted to be part of it. It was a great idea.
All right, get ready to grab your yoga balls.
Yoga mats.
Mix up a smoothie.
Do some stretching. Better stretch out. You want to stretch them hammies.
Don't pull a hammy on this episode, because today we're talking about the battle of the bulge. We're talking about trying to get in shape. When it works, when it doesn't. Usually it doesn't.
It usually doesn't. That's true.
Because it's that time. It's that time of year when the sun is out and the little midriffs are appearing on the streets of Los Angeles, California.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always a nice thing to see. Although it's quite a distraction. And I'll also say this: this has been probably the worst allergy season I've had in decades.
Yes.
Like since I lived in Dallas in the springtime was murderous on the allergies because they had a lot of greenery, a lot of creeks, a lot of trees. New York wasn't so bad because there was no vegetation within 100 miles.
There's no pollen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if I got too close to above 59th Street, then I'm. But even sometimes I feel like those plants in Central Park are dead on the inside.
Much like everyone else.
Exactly. Like they're just the reflection of a city, just these angry shells, just still alive, but not hate, not.
But I will agree with
not what we could call living.
I will agree with the allergy thing because I have been sneezing like a motherfucker.
It's been crazy.
Season.
I get up in the mornings and my face, I can't breathe. My nose, it's awful.
What about?
I'm getting up and taking a Claritin at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
Yes.
What? Why this year? Why is it so
I have
bad?
no idea. I don't know if it's the winds or early rains or early sunshine. I don't know what it is, but this has been by far the worst I've ever experienced in California and probably in the last decade or more.
Yeah, I had a friend come for the weekend. That's exactly what he said, that his face was just completely stuffed up.
It was awful.
But you got to get out there. You got to work that body.
Summer tried to put the moves on me not too long ago in the morning, and I was like, I can't breathe.
Really?
I couldn't do it. I couldn't have sex because I couldn't breathe. My eyes were watering, my nose was stuffed up and running at the same time. I don't know how that worked. And I couldn't stop sneezing. And so I was like, I can't do anything. My
girlfriend is finding success in not asking for sex in the morning.
Just doing it too.
Because if you ask, hey, do you want to have sex? You're like, oh, I'm tired. And, but instead, I'm just like, just take it. Just take the D, like just wait, prep the D and do whatever you need to do. And then just take it because, I can't argue with getting a raping. Like if that's going to happen, then, it's like the Nirvana song. Just, like, you want to have sex? I'm just like, rape me. Just do it. Take the D. Get the D.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get in shape.
Rape really isn't the word they should use for when it happens to men from a woman.
Yeah, they should make up a new word for that.
Yeah, like sexual blessing. She blessed me. I didn't want to be blessed, but she blessed me anyway.
Forceful awesomeness.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite term for the R word is a snuggle struggle.
That makes it sound too cute.
So you've been working out? Today we're talking on Today on June Mexican. As you know, every week we pick a different idea, a different topic, different theme, and then just kind of bullshit and tell stories on said theme. And I figured now that the weather is finally getting consistently nice in Los Angeles, and you are constantly reminded of how much better physical shape everyone in the city is than you.
And you realize that soon you're going to want to go to the beach or the pool and take your shirt off, and you don't want to be mortally embarrassed of what you look like. I was shooting a thing, and I went in my dressing room. First of all, there's nothing worse than going for a fitting and find out what your actual waist size is.
I hate that.
Because you tell them what you believe, the waist size you've been purchasing and stuffing yourself into, and then and it's amazing because these customers, they're not stupid. They do this all the time. So they always give me the size that I say I am plus a size larger. And I can't tell you how many times I had to come and go, yeah, you're right with that larger size.
Yeah, I was getting...
Turns out, I thought I was a 36, and I thought I was an honest 36. All my pants, 36s. I thought, and she goes, what? And then in the dressing room, or when I go to the fitting, she has a 36 to 38, and I'm like, oh, you're used to actors lying about this stuff. I don't lie about it. I'm fine. I go in there with 36. I can't even close them.
Really?
I'm like, no, oh my God, no. So I put on the 38s, fit like a dream.
Yeah.
So
when I got the fitting for NCIS, he's like, that's like Italian costumer. He's like, what size do you think you are? And I'm like, typically I'm like a 33. He's like, I think you're like a 36. Yeah. And I was like, fuck me, really?
Yeah.
Really?
And they're right. That's the horrible
Because
part.
I think I'm hitting an age that I thought would never happen given my metabolism, where if I spend a couple weeks just eating and I gain, about 5, or to 10, just extra pounds, typically if I just stop the eating at night, they will just go away by virtue of my, but it's not happening anymore.
Right, yes.
I think once I hit 33, the whole insta weight melt just stops, and you have to work. Yeah. You have to work for it.
You know what? I've come to this conclusion. There are 2 kinds of people at the gym: people that look sexy working out, and the rest of us. And the people that look sexy are the people who exercise has been part of their life. Okay, they were an athlete as a kid. They grew up. They always worked out. They always played sports. So going to the gym and doing all that stuff, they're built for it. They've done it for a long time. It's clear. And then there's the rest of us where it's violently obvious that we're doing work that we are not being paid to do. And it looks like that on our faces, and we're like, there's a struggle happening that for the other ones that this is part of their life and they've done their whole lives, they're just like, I fucking love it, and the rest of us are like, when can I finish?
When can I look like that guy?
Exactly. How much more of this
time? When can I look like that guy in front of me?
Have I done enough to justify McDonald's on the way home? That's what the rest of us look like when we're exercising. And the 2, I don't think we'll ever meet. I think there are some people that catch it and fall in love with it late in life, but I think it's very few. And my real problem with weightlifting in particular, with most of this exercise, but particularly with weightlifting, is that you're lifting weights for no reason. There's you can't do anything with the extra muscle. You're not trained to use it for anything. You're literally just stronger for the sake of being stronger. You have nothing to use it for all day. It's like, now I'll really be able to lift those bales of hay. Like there's nothing you're doing to do with these muscles. It is a pure exercise in vanity.
That's why I got a new computer mouse that weighs 33 pounds. So I physically can't use my computer unless I'm in shape.
Yes. Unless you build up some muscle mass.
That's one of the measures I've taken.
But that's what drives me crazy about it. To me, there's no getting around the fact that I'm literally just doing this out of a sense of vanity.
I fucking hate looking at photos of me when I was like younger, and then just being like, why didn't I just hold on to that?
I know, boy. I look at myself and I go, why did I think I was fat? Jesus Christ, I look great.
Yeah, I know.
I'm fat.
I'll just see photos and I'm like, I got a little bicep going on there, and then I'm like, me. The best I've ever looked is when I worked for Red Bull when I lived in New York City, right after I graduated, because
because you were fucking your heart rate was 180 all day.
Yeah, I know. It was as fast as the trance music I listened to.
Yeah, you were like you were literally walking at a sprinter's pace. Your heart thought you were sprinting even though you were just walking. Yeah. Which, by the way, that's also what it sounds like when he's working on a computer.
Wow, wow.
Wow, this DJ's really killing it today.
Wow. Yeah, because when I worked for my first job out of when I graduated I was on the street team for Red Bull. I gave away free Red Bulls, but we didn't have the car because we were in Manhattan.
Right.
So and I was walking around in the hot summer sun for 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I was wearing a weighted backpack because we had these foam insulated Red Bull backpacks that was filled with Red Bull that we were supposed to go in.
But of course, you're slamming them all day.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, I just shot this kids show, and the kids,
people let you near kids?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Isn't that a violation of a court order?
Parole. No.
Did you have to knock on the door of all the producers and tell them you were in the neighborhood first?
The kids, I saw a couple of the kids just sitting there sipping on them Red Bulls like it's a Coke, which, they used to be like, Coke's too much. And now it's like, go ahead, stop them from drinking that shit.
Yeah, when we first started working for Red Bull, they were very clear, like, only give them one can. Any more than just the 8 ounces or whatever would not be a good idea. And now they have fucking 20-ounce cans of Red Bull, and that the kids just drink these like they are Coke. Yeah. The problem is, if you look on any of these energy drinks, they don't actually list how much caffeine is in it. They don't have to. It's not regulated by the FDA.
Yeah.
They just give, it's about as much caffeine. How come they always say it's about as much caffeine
as a cup of coffee? 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah, it's about as much caffeine as 2 cups of coffee with crushed up methamphetamine mixed into the coffee. Like, that is not 2 fucking cups of coffee.
Yeah, they're throwing all the other stuff, the chlorine.
A cup is 8 ounces. Technically, this large Starbucks is what, like 7
6
cups?
Yeah,
some shit like that. So I just walked around for Red Bull all summer long, and we wouldn't really give it out. We just trade it for whatever we wanted. We traded it for Subway sandwiches, for movie tickets.
Well, you were essentially walking around with liquid cocaine. So.
We were walking around, and dude, I see the photos of me then.
You were shredded, I bet.
I literally had a 6-pack then, and I'll never forget I don't get a lot of body compliments.
I love it, and it wasn't because you were doing any crunches. It's because your stomach muscles were convulsing with being too energized.
That's pretty funny.
They were just
nothing to tighten up the waistline like moderate epilepsy. Brought on by methamphetamine liquid.
Like a steady stream of body spasms.
We were probably drinking like 4 a day because you're thirsty. It's in the summer in New York City. And you're like, oh, I'm thirsty. Well, I got this backpack full of cold beverages. Let's slam a couple. And I don't... I'm skinny-ish, although I'm definitely getting a little pudgy right now, which is, part of the reason I wanted to do this.
It's love weight, though. It's love weight, and that's very common.
When you get
into a relationship,
I know
there's a lot of sitting around.
We like watching episodic media. We like takeout. We like delivery.
Someone has been.
We like getting delivery after we've gotten takeout.
Exactly. That's what it is. Summer and I are in this constant state of like when we're together. It's like let's get comfortable. Let's get something to eat. Let's get some dessert.
We got a flat screen. We got a Netflix.
We got
membership.
Netflix, exactly. I got hours of shows and movies on the DVR. We are set, exactly, and it puts you in this comatose state.
They should bundle a Netflix membership with like an LA Fitness membership.
Let me tell you something. Technology is so great, and delivery and we become such a service-based society. I swear to God, what's his name? I saw Dane Cook. I saw him get on stage. He's talking about being in this relationship with these 2 girls. But he's put on weight. Like, he's substantially put on weight.
Has he?
Yes. And you could tell it's from him sitting around with these recently? 2 bitches. Yeah. This is as recent as last week of him sitting around with these 2 bitches ordering ice cream and pizza and fucking living the high life and banging.
2 girls?
Yeah, 2 girls.
He has 2
He's having a 2-girl relationship.
Really?
Yes.
You sure about that?
He talked about it on stage quite evidently.
Really?
Yes. And he has no imagination. So, I mean, it has to be true.
Can't fault him.
I'm not kidding. He's got a great imagination. I'm just joking. And I only say that because he is one of the guys that I think really launched this whole era of supposition comedies. Anyways,
so he's sitting around with 2
girls getting fat.
Huh.
For him, fat. Not like he's fat like I'm fat, but for him, considering how hard he's worked at his fitness for so long, for him, it's fat. Like he has a little roll around the middle, a little double chin action. Not a little double chin, like the chin and neck have connected.
Huh.
So
that's what I get.
Yeah, exactly. Which it's common, I put it on. That's the worst thing. The first place I put on weight is my face, and the last place I take it off is my face.
Really?
I always have a fat face.
With me, it's kind of weird because when I start gaining weight, I tend to gain it at the bottom of my waist, so jeans are immediately tighter. Like I have it in the back of my waist.
Yeah, you get the little hips, like little girl hips.
Yeah, I get little girl rolls, and I can feel it too. I fucking hate it.
You get a little muffin
on my
top.
jeans, and I also get it in my titties. I get
a little titty weight.
Yeah, but because I don't have a lot of pectoral muscle, they kind of fill in, and people are like, "You've been lifting?" I'm like, "Cheeseburgers."
Exactly, Oreos.
Yeah. So then when I begin working out and begin to lose the weight, I lose it in the titties, but the nipple puff, that goes away last. So once I actually begin to get in shape, I have my one of my best friends, Seeger.
So you retain fat nipples?
Yeah, my friend Seeger calls them sodium tits. When you have the puffy nipples,
Yeah.
They just kind of like, you might look good, but you have like the little nipple pops.
Yeah, like you just have some water in there you need to get out.
I hate that shit. And that's why when I'm like, well, I could keep eating and keep
like
these
one of those
sweet
weird
pecs.
Audi belly buttons that's squishy, like that. Only in your
like that thing from the Sharper Image, you push the nose in and go, that little pink thing, the little stress head.
I know the stress ball, yes.
Yeah, the stress head. It's like a little head with 2 eyes, and you pop it in.
Don't know that one. No.
So
I feel like for me, here's the thing, and here's what's always bothered me. I never felt like I was supposed to be a fat kid. Okay. Because I wasn't, as a small child, as a little kid, I was quite normal, very thin, everything. It was when my family moved to Texas. Well, first we moved around a lot. And so, it was, I was always trying to make new friends, everything. But when we moved to Texas, I really didn't like the people because we moved to this very racist small town called Greenville, Texas, which I've talked about before.
Is it the whitest, the blackest
the blackest land with the whitest people. Someone actually sent me a picture of the sign.
That's hilarious.
And sure, yeah, Greenville, Blackland County, the blackest land with the whitest people. So I really didn't like the people. It took me years to make friends there. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of, the one thing I found before was that, I don't know why, well, and also being from a large family and the family always having troubles financially, etc. Like when I could eat, I always ate as much as I could. Mm-hmm. So what became kind of a thing at school was people were kind of surprised that such a little guy could eat so much food. So my little attention-getting trick was eating a disproportionate amount of food for a guy.
That sounds like...
Isn't that awful? But when you're a kid, you're like, oh, this gets attention? Yeah. Oh, look, I'll do it again. I love eating food. I'll eat a triple. So I developed this awful habit, right? Of ordering the maximum amount of everything.
That's hilarious.
And trying to prove to people I could put it down. Somehow, this became a thing. That was my thing, was that I was a young overeater.
So to get popular, you got fat, which then made it
impossible for me to get popular.
To get popular.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's exactly right.
Well, that's like the dog eating his tail with mustard and mayonnaise.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was. So that's where I developed the bad habit of just eating too much because it was my little attention getter. As stupid as that seems now, but when you're a kid, you're like, oh, yeah, right, that's my thing. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I do totally. I'm that guy. It's like that became a thing. So I developed it, and that's when I got fat. I think that started in like the 5th grade, and by the 7th grade, I was a chubster. Mm-hmm. I was a total chubster. Then, and here's something I learned. This was something that I thought was pretty valuable when I was in the between my junior and senior year. That's when I decided I don't want to be fat anymore. I'm not going to be a fat kid anymore. So I decided to start running. So I realized, and this is when I realized, the one thing, the problem with workout programs and just starting to go to the gym and doing all these things is you're trying to start at level 10. You're trying to start as someone that works out. When you're at level 0, you don't work out at all. Mm-hmm. So you really have to start at level 1. And so I thought, well, what's 1? Okay, well, it's 1 block. So I literally just walked 1 block around my house. And then the next day, I walked around the block twice. And then the next day, I walked around the block 3 times. And I did that every day.
You max out at 10 blocks?
No, well, after I started expanding the thing. And then by the end of 3 months, I was running 3 miles a night. Mm-hmm. But it started with just doing, and then I did it again in my 20s. I realized, again, you got to start from 0. So I developed a 30-day plan where on day 1, I did 1 sit-up and 1 push-up. And then by day 30, I was doing 30 sit-ups and 30 push-ups. And so from there, I kind of worked myself back in. And then, so it's been this back and forth where I exercise and lose some weight. And then I did it again last year. I got this whole workout program. I did the whole thing for 9 months. And then we got to November, and I was like, fuck it, I'm starving. And I stopped working out, and I just ate carbs for fucking the last 3 months. Yeah. And now I just started out trying the workout program again.
Yeah.
Because I realized I can't, without a specific program, I cannot be trusted. I won't do it on my own. I won't go. I won't do enough. Nothing. It's terrible. I just fall apart. Fast.
When I was in high school, I was kind of like a pudgy kid in high school. Again, never fat, but definitely about 20 pounds of just extra weight.
Yeah.
And I would constantly battle with the fact that I had this little pudge and didn't really have much of a workout plan. And then when I got Crohn's disease and I just couldn't eat, I began to lose weight because I couldn't digest any food. And for the first couple months, I was like, this is fucking awesome. I love this disease. The pounds are literally melting away. This is the best diet ever.
I'm wasting away. It's almost like this.
Then once I lost
it, almost as valuable as that concentration camp diet.
Yeah, it basically was it was the Auschwitz diet.
Yeah.
And then, but once I hit like a good weight, I was like, oh, good. Now stop. And then I was like, no, seriously, stop.
Yeah. I'm getting real fucking thin here.
Seriously. And I look at old photos. And
now at this point, did you know you had Crohn's? Or
I knew. I mean, this was typically most people when they get diagnosed, when they get it, they begin losing weight because they just can't really eat food. And for a while, I wasn't even really eating much solid food. For every day for lunch, I'd sneak out of the high school. They didn't have like a lunch outside of the school lunch program, so I'd sneak out and then go to my home and I'd make chicken broth with chicken broth. That's what I had for
chicken broth. Yeah, because that's what you could have.
Basically, yeah. And then I'd sneak back into school, and that was my plan. But I do remember, like, because I was so self-conscious about being a little pudgy. Once I got down to a weight that people were like, "You're like really wasting away," I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, I look fucking fantastic. It was like anorexic chick mentality.
Yeah. Because
I had such a mental thing about being pudgy that being super skinny was exactly what I'd wanted the entire time. Like, it was the extreme opposite end. Man, when I got to New York City, I used to do stupid shit just to work out and get some thrills. When I lived in Manhattan, I did this thing that I'd call the running of the cabs.
Yeah.
Where I'd put like, I'd smoke and then put like headphones on and I'd blast my techno music. And I would literally run up Fifth Avenue in the street, like in between cabs.
Oh, wow. Up the street, up in the middle of the street.
Like cab to my left, to my right. I'd run like with the cars.
God damn.
I called it the running of the cabs.
That's
I felt
so dumb.
It was like urban Pamplona.
Right.
You know? And I'd just fucking be running with the cabs. It's like, talk about getting a good workout. Like nothing makes you work out harder than I'm going to die. Right. Like that's when you really fucking do it. That was extreme.
I tried running on the streets of New York, and what I found to be the major obstacle
is the exhaust and the fumes.
Right, the scents, the smells. Because here you are, you're huffing, especially me, you're huffing and puffing, and all of a sudden this whiff of a garbage can filled with rat shit and old dairy hits you in the fucking face, and you get a mouthful of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah! I mean, this is a and you get, I mean, we're talking every 30 feet, a new, more rancid smell just hitting you full face. And I was like, okay, I can't run on the streets. I can't fucking do it.
What I hated about...
It's grossing me the fuck out. I can't do it. So then I hear the best thing that happened to me in New York was Crunch Fitness had some kind of weird fitness awards show, and they wanted me to host it. So yeah, but they didn't want to pay me, so they gave me a year's free membership to Crunch Fitness.
Expensive.
Right. So I got a free 1-year membership to Crunch, and I found that here's what amazed me about Crunch Fitness. I would go in there, and there would be people on the stair climber, and I wanted to just stand in front of it like, really.
I live in a 5th floor walk-up. My whole life is a stairmaster.
You don't get enough stairs in New York.
Stair walking motherfucker.
You're like, this city, there just isn't enough stairs. I'm going to go get more stairs.
Yeah. Like gyms in New York City need like an elevator master. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like you get...
Work that finger out.
There's no one in New York that desires more stairs. And yet here they were, stair mastering between their days at stairs.
I mean, frankly, in New York City, you don't even really need to work out because
you don't, because there's so much daily cardio.
No one has a car. You just walk everywhere.
You're walking at least 3 miles a day. All of that, with stairs, various grades and speeds. So I'm
always amazed by like how when I was in New York, like if I was in the East Village and they had a meeting on 30th and or 7th or whatever, there would be. If I had the time, I would always do the walk because I loved walking in New York. Yeah, blasting your music, you feel like you're a part of this active membrane. And and thinking about that, like you said, that was probably well over a mile. But you don't even in New York, you don't even think about the actual distance. You just think about the amount of blocks.
Oh, and now I'll be like, oh man, I don't want to park 2 blocks away.
Yeah,
I don't want to walk 2 blocks from my car.
It's like
it's amazing. It's
like an LA Story, which I really want to rewatch. By the way, I haven't seen that in years.
It's funny. I saw it a few months ago.
Oh, you did?
Very funny.
That's like high on my list of rewatch. Dude, when Steve Martin goes to see his neighbor and he drives the car a block over.
Yeah. Or when he and the girl, him and what's her name, the gorgeous blonde.
I haven't seen it.
Roller girl.
Heather Graham?
When
she's in LA Story?
Yes.
Really?
She's the main hot girl in LA Story.
I have not seen it
since
high school.
But I love it because they're both preparing to fuck each other over and they're both about to make out and he's like, I'll never take advantage of you. And then she says, I'll never want anybody or something like that. When she's fucking him because he's the director and he's fucking her because she thinks she has money or something like that. And so it's quite the LA moment. It's pretty awesome.
That's Sarah Jessica Parker.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yo, it is actually.
I'll
It's not
bet you
Heather Graham.
$50.
Okay, then I'm thinking of a different movie. Which is the one? Oh, I'm thinking of
Bowfinger.
Bowfinger, which has many of the same jokes. Because it's a very LA movie. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of. LA Story has a million cameos in it, right?
I haven't seen it in so long.
I think that I'm thinking of Bowfinger. That's what.
Which you recently rewatched.
Yeah, that was the one I recently watched. It's pretty funny. It's not horrible.
I haven't seen LA Story since I was in high school, and I don't think I really would have gotten any of the jokes. And now, of course, I would.
Yes. Yes, this town is riddled with its own humors.
And then moved to LA and joined a gym.
I actually, I had just started running again. I was running 2 miles a night. I was dropping weight when I got into that car accident, the one that totaled
Pepe.
And it jacked
I listened
up,
to that episode recently on
yeah.
Drive to Arizona. We listened to Cars episode.
How was it?
Oh, it's a really good episode. Yeah, and then I realized what a dick I am for selling that Volvo.
Yeah, that was bad. And it came back to haunt you.
Oh, it did.
It did.
I'd like to feel like I got my karma payback for that. But man, I felt really, when I listened to that, I was
Karma with a C.
With a C. So you were running 2 miles after.
So I was running, then I got in the car accident, and I remember waiting a week to try and start running again, immediately jacked on my back. And to this day, like I even tried last week. I was like, I'm just going to try and run every day. I'm just going to try and run for, every morning. I'm just going to get up and go running. I did it 2 mornings in a row, and my back was so jacked up, I couldn't even exercise if I wanted to.
You know what you should
for
do?
The final 4 days. And I mean, I've done a lot. What should I do? Go ahead. Although I think acupuncture might help.
Take Epsom salt baths are incredible.
Yeah?
Oh, they're amazing for any sort of muscle tension. I fucked up my rotator cuff when I was lifting, and that was recommended to me. And man, it really does work because your body is not, the salt is such a big part of your body. When you actually sit in the salt, you get out, you feel so refreshed. And yeah, my girlfriend was having a lot of back tension, just tighten muscles, and this just knocked that out.
Wow,
so
I'll have to give that a shot.
Highly recommend.
I'll have to try that because
Epsom salt. And Epsom salt at the store is like $5 for like a huge
Well, you know what I bought that actually helps a lot, but still hasn't allowed me to run like on pavement run.
What?
Is one of those
a Segway?
Inversion tables.
Oh yeah, you did say you got one of those.
Yeah.
Your back's that bad, huh?
It's that bad.
It's from the car accident?
Yeah, and let me tell you something, from the car accident.
Right.
And from the first time that I used it, the first time I inverted myself, there's one pop happened in my spine. I mean, I've never felt anything like released like that.
Really?
Like it had been waiting for years and it just and like the muscle, and I mean it was like sore, like the muscle was sore.
There were a couple like MDMA pills. That
totally,
were
a little MDMA, exactly. Some old drug, some acid, a little mushroom poison, everything was woo, and the whole muscle was like it was almost like it was strange, man. It really changed things immediately. Although the effects now are a little bit lessened because I've done it more, you know, than when I first started. But I still feel it's helped quite a bit having the inversion table. I like anytime my back feels really jacked up, I'd get on that thing and
I gotta get a
pull-up.
Maybe that's what I'll do today. I'm gonna get a pull-up bar because I had one at the place where I lived near you in Little Armenia, and just having
good for
it
hanging
there
and stretching your back.
Yeah, my girlfriend has one too, and just when it's there, you're just like, fuck it, I can do this.
Yeah, and we
have
one of those bars.
I'm gonna get a scale today too. I don't want to do that, but. For me, once you actually have the cold hard
I don't want to
number,
know. I don't like the numbers.
I'm at the point right now where I need the number.
I don't want to know. I can't
I need the number because sometimes I can convince myself that I'm in better shape than I am.
To think that a man that's 5'5" is under 200 pounds is just mortifying.
Is over?
Over 200 pounds.
Yeah, under 200 pounds.
I should be under 200 pounds. I always think that I'm about 170.
What are you now?
And then I don't know. I don't want to know.
What do you think you are?
I think I'm probably at about 198.
Really?
Yeah.
AKA 207.
AKA 205.
I think that was such a specific.
The first time,
just below 200 number.
Because anytime I feel
197.3.
Yeah. Well, because I tend to hover. Because when I think I'm about 180, I'm about 195.
Right.
Okay. So, but then I have gotten on it a few times and been over 200 pounds.
You ever feel like?
But I mean, it's mortifying because I don't see myself as a 200-pounder fat guy, but I am.
Remember that Simpsons episode where Homer gets enlisted into the space program and they do the body fat test on him? And they go, okay, Mr. Simpson, we're gonna, they measure how long his body fat keeps jiggling.
Oh yeah.
And he hits his stomach and
like
it just
days.
keeps going.
Yeah.
And Homer goes, woo! Look at that blubber fly. Sometimes I feel like that too. Man, it used to be so much easier to just take the fucking weight off, but I'm determined to do it. You ever do Runyon?
Yes, I've done Runyon. I found what Runyon does.
It's all shirtless actors.
Well, that was the one thing I hated about it the most.
Yeah, it's all shirtless actors.
It's like writing at a Starbucks, or, you know what I mean? Like even it's just I feel so fucking cliche. I just have to run away from it. I'm like, fuck this.
You have to run away from it.
Yeah,
that's why you run the whole thing.
Runyon
you have to get away from it.
Runyon Canyon. I find the trip down is more painful for me the next day than the going up. On the knees, the restraint on the knees going down.
I like running down there.
I've realized that at my age, my knees hurt now after a certain amount of work.
Really?
Yeah, my knees actually ache the next day, which is weird.
Epsom salt baths.
But that's some after 40-year-old shit.
I guarantee
get over
you.
40, all of a sudden your knees hurt. It's like,
let's do
this.
this. I'm driving you home. We're gonna pick you up some Epsom salt on the way home. Take an Epsom salt bath. You will feel like a newer and better version of yourself.
Not hard to do.
Not hard to do.
Not hard to do. It ain't hard to beat this standard.
So
if there's a gold standard, I'm the pewter.
You're the pewter. You're the fucking
I'm the pewter standard.
The pyrite standard.
Yes.
What are the gyms I belong to? The first gym I think I belonged to in Los Angeles. Remember that old Bally's that was near the Music Box Theater? It's a gigantic gym.
Oh, yeah, in L.A.
Yeah, I call it Bally's.
Because I was going to the 24-hour that was around the corner.
I call it Bally's Total Oldness because it's where all like the older Armenian like men would go. And well, the gym itself is gigantic. It's actually the biggest gym in all of Southern California because it used to be they do boxing fights in there. So it's the size of a small arena. Right. And they actually have an indoor track that goes around the entire thing, which is fucking fantastic because no matter how crowded it is, you can always go running. But and they just redid it as a really like new fancy LA Fitness, and I'd be interested to see it because they redid the whole thing. But I was there when it was like really disgusting, and my vision of hell was being stuck in the locker room at the old Bally's. I just couldn't. Like the urinals would have, there'd just like be piss on the floor, and there would.
There's nothing grosser than a poorly maintained gym.
Oh God!
I went to a gym when I lived in Brooklyn. There was a little gym. That was around the corner from me. That was one of those gyms that was eye level with the elevated track, so that the trains went right by the windows. Well, okay, and the machinery looked like it was a storage room for the discarded machinery of another gym. That's like it's got too much rust in it. Just put it in there until we can sell it. And then they turned that room.
It's all old timey.
It is. It's
the
old.
Exercisator.
Exactly. They had the belt that jiggles you for no reason. Like it was
the boxing classes. You can only hold your hands like this.
Yeah, like an Irishman, like a
fisticuffsmanship.
Yeah. So it was just super old and just. But I would go in there and use these machines and everything, and I was the only like non-Puerto Rican in there. And they were just, they were real nice to me and everything, but everything was gross. Everything was gross and old and worked very poorly. Mm-hmm. It was like something you find in your uncle's garage that he used to work out. It's called Atlas, or something like that. So
Jack LaLanne
branded.
The LaLanne Bicepulizer.
So it was that, and it was just gross. Dust, like piles of dust, and it was just gross. So that was a tough place to work out in. But have you ever had one of those moments where you're like, this is like just a fat moment? This is probably my fattest moment.
It's been recently.
This is my fattest moment.
We had a real winter in of we've watched so much television and movies.
That's love, baby. I
literally.
I got wait.
We walked by
I
like
got fried chicken. And then I was like, what do I want as a side? It's like, I know, Apple Jacks.
What?
So I had a bowl of Apple Jacks and fried chicken.
Wow.
And it was like, this is the fattest thing you can possibly fucking eat.
Wow. Fried chicken and Apple Jacks.
I think I was real depressed, man.
No, fried chicken's delicious, man. I was reading
fried chicken is delicious, but it's awful for you.
There was I just read some article about.
Are you aware of this non-chicken like creature that KFC uses?
I've heard about it. They call it like Bird 34 or something. It has like it's born with 4 breasts or whatever.
Is that right?
Some shit.
Yeah, it's some weird and no feet and no beak and like no feathers. And this is what I've been told.
It's like a living chicken nugget.
Well, and that's what now I can't eat KFC because somebody told me this shit, and I haven't bought. I'm afraid to go find out that it's true, Because apparently the reason they have to call it KFC now is because it's not technically chicken anymore.
Can you look that up?
Can we Wikipedia this, please, Darren?
Can KFC like Robo Bird or whatever? Or like
Yeah, and
KFC genetically modified chicken.
And if so, all I keep thinking is, okay, this is a fine example. This bird creature. Think about that. Okay, now I can't eat it because I'm aware that this is some mutated creature that comes to life without the ability to speak or feel or move. So it's a trapped soul in this horrible being, right? That's just waiting for death. So so that's why I can't eat it anymore.
Popcorn chicken.
And so what I'm thinking is, I'm wondering. I mean, you wonder what happens to all these, these horrible people that somehow get away with it. They die without punishment. And I'm telling you, in my mind, this is what happens to them. They wind up in situations like this, in this fucking Matrix-like lifeless form where they just have to sit there in themselves with no ability to communicate at all until the time when that life is finally cut off. And that's what you get for touching kids.
You come back as a KFC Robo Bird?
Yes.
And then get eaten by Greg Wilson with Apple Jacks.
Yes. I hate some criminal from another life and another world. I hate them with Apple Jacks and a nice Chianti.
Wouldn't that be like a good sales pitch for KFC, though? KFC, eat the souls of the damned?
Yeah. That's what I think they've created. They've created a damned creature that traps the souls of people who have done wrong.
I did a KFC ad, the Panini's ad.
Which is a great example of them putting skinny people in their commercials is completely fraudulent, and I'm fucking sick of it. Okay? They're fucking lying to everybody with this skinny people. No, they don't. I've been there at all hours. I've never seen skinny people in there.
It's so tasty, though.
Well, it is delicious. There's no kidding.
I looked it up. It says it's false, but there are pictures of birds with no feathers and no wings.
So it's saying it's an urban myth?
I went to Snopes.com and said it's false, but then there's other things that say it's true. But then
is Snopes supposed to be a reputable? Is it a?
I don't know. It could be Kentucky Fried Chicken just putting that shit on saying it's
exactly.
False.
Check Wikipedia. See what that says.
Yeah, because that's the truth.
Yeah, exactly. I want a consensus idea of the truth.
Just check where anyone can edit.
Just check the popular idea of what might be true.
Check the place where truth is as true as the person who just edited the entry.
Exactly, where the greatest good for the greatest number is put into informational use.
Yahoo. Should I look at Yahoo?
Sure, look at Yahoo. Just look it up. Yeah.
Yahoo.
That's the other thing. Yeah, the internet. You can't trust anything on the fucking. It's all a bunch of lies.
You can trust me.
Some guy's got WordPress, and now it's information.
You have WordPress.
That's what I'm saying.
I have WordPress.
Exactly. The power's in all the wrong hands.
Anyone can press words.
Yep, that's the problem.
So being fat, yeah, man. God, I just love Jesus Christ.
There are people though that I feel are genetically, and I feel part of it is, despite my bad habits that were developed early, I think there is a part of me that's the genetic, because I'm Hispanic and short, I think there's a part of me that is definitely genetically predisposed to weight gain, for certain. Because I fought it for years, although, the bad eating habits, being a stoner, what are you going to fucking do?
Yeah, well, the thing about you is you love getting fucking Taco Bell at 2 in the morning.
I love it. I love it.
Every time I've driven you home,
all the way
we
home.
stop at Taco Bell.
I love late night foods. Not just Taco Bell, but usually if that's convenient. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, I love. I have these terrible eating habits that I've tried so hard to break. It's just I don't know that they're ever going to break. I'm almost at a point where I feel like I should just accept this as who I am.
I fantasize.
I'm that guy. Although I don't want to be a total fat ass for one reason only is because of my health. I'm so old now that when I have kids, I'm going to be an old dad. And I want to be around to at least see them through high school. And if I want to do that, I can't be this total fat, artery clogged fucking disaster.
Yeah. No, I definitely, I hear that. What the fuck was I going to say?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I'll go, late night eating, I mean, basically during the day, if you have a horrible meal, you're going to be okay if you just abstain and have a light dinner. But my problem is the late night eating, because late night eating, if you eat a meal within a couple hours of going to bed, that's all going to your ass. Like your body basically is in hibernation mode. And like it's late and you're hungry, but you start
me
start
and my brothers
ambitiously.
are the same way. We all do it.
You have the grapes that are left over. Maybe you have some celery. Then you put some peanut butter on the celery.
Oh, jeez, I go crazy with the peanut butter and jelly. Yep.
So then you have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but that doesn't quite do it. And then you remember you have that cake mix. You make some muffins and you make the fucking and you put peanut butter on the muffins.
Well, and
and then you get delivery.
Stand-up is awesome. Also incredibly conducive towards late night eating because you don't want to eat before your shows because you can't be tired during your shows.
And a lot of the times
by the time you're done with the shows, now you're starving and it's 12 o'clock at night.
And a lot of times when you're doing comedy, the club will feed you. Food is part of the deal. And I was at the Comedy Spot this weekend. Thank you very much for the booking, by the way.
Did you crush? Did you super crush?
I totally destroyed.
I knew you would.
He asked me back for September.
I was going to say, Ben Morrison is going to blow this fucking room apart and make me look like a genius.
Sean, by the way, is fucking hilarious and does a better Wilson impression than me, which I'm a little bitter about.
Are you serious? You love his Wilson?
It's better than mine.
Everybody does a Wilson.
His is fantastic. Mine's the best, but his is prodigious.
His is pretty good.
But this is a good example. Like as a comedian, you won't eat because the club has food and it's a free meal, and that's just part of a lot of times part of your mental idea of getting paid. And the place next to stand up, next to the Comedy Spot, where I was doing stand up all weekend, the club gets the food from it's called Pizza and Beef.
Yeah.
There's not much there, although man, the fucking pizza rolls from that place.
Were they good? Oh. Well, they must have just added the food because they didn't have it when I was there last.
Really? Yeah, because it's 2 doors down. It's adjacent. They have these pizza rolls. It's like we got like a dozen.
Yeah.
We were farting all night long.
Oh boy!
But they're so good. Like imagine like a
what else is around the corner from it is some of the best cheesesteaks I've ever had in my life.
Really?
There's a cheesesteak place that's open like till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it's fantastic. And I would go. We'd party, get drunk, and then cheesesteaks back to the hotel.
Well, we just have like a lot of Denny's.
And this is so, and that's what I'm saying. It's so, the lifestyle of being a comedian, it's conducive to this. I will eat at about, here's my schedule when I'm on the road. I get up and I eat a very late breakfast, lunch kind of thing, like around noon? Around 11 a.m. noon. Then, and then I'll eat like a lunch type early dinner, like around 5. So that by 8, I'm completely ready to go, digest, everything's great. Mm-hmm. And then, but then,
you
around midnight.
So much energy on stage.
Exactly, and usually get half-cocked drunk. So now, by the time it's done, now it's time to eat again. I'm starving.
Yeah.
So it is, the lifestyle of the comedian, unfortunately, is very conducive to weight gain.
And just poor health.
Eating late at night, yeah.
Overall, we work in bars, we get paid in like shitty food, and a lot of times if we're not getting paid, we want to drink our weight in pay.
Yeah.
And by the time you know it, it's like fucking midnight already. Do you remember? I just haven't thought about this shit in a while. Remember Olestra?
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Remember
that was the new
Fen-Phen? Remember Fen-Phen worked. And people were dropping weight, and then they realized, right? But then they realized it was creating heart valve problems, and they had to pull it from the market, and they had to take a bunch of lawsuits and all that business. So, I mean, but it worked. I saw a bunch of people drop. And the best is here's the funniest part. I love it when somebody drops weight really fast. And then they give their clothes away. Like, here, I'm not going to use these anymore. Like, yeah, I'm sure this is going to stick.
Yeah.
I'm sure you changed all of those habits now that, in this 3-week quick weight loss business, I'm sure it's never coming back. Yes, I will hold these for you, for your imminent weight return.
Let's not go to Goodwill just yet.
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly. I love it. I've had fat friends do that over and over again. They get on some fad diet, I'm giving away all my clothes. I'm like, all right, well, just keep the receipt.
Yo-yo diet.
You're going to be back for that really fast.
Eating chocolate yo-yos.
Well, anytime you lose weight quickly, you haven't changed the actual habits that made you gain weight. Yep. So whenever you quit doing whatever this little fad was that you can't do the rest of your life, you're definitely going to gain the weight back. It's going to be awful. I just want to convey two last little stories. One of the best and worst times I ever had in a gym. We got to wrap this up. Give them your credits really quickly, Ben. Tell them where to find you.
Find me at benmorrison.org, on Twitter at benthemorrison.
I am the Greg Wilson at thegregwilson.tv or thecomedyinstitute.com or at the Greg Wilson, et cetera, et cetera. So I was working out in Brooklyn. I've got a gym membership. I was like, I got to get back in shape. So even though I was New York thin, I wanted to muscle up a bit. Mm-hmm. So I go in there, and the gay black guy that's running the place, he's like, Greg, I teach you a spin class. You should take my spin class. I'm like, okay, I'll take your spin class. So he goes, you want to lose weight? You take my spin class. I take the spin class. I go in there. 10 minutes into this thing, and I'm dying. dying, okay? Maybe not even 10. It might have been 3 minutes, okay? And I'm like, I'm about to quit and walk out when the hottest girl walks in the spandex and the tight top. And of course, mounts the bike directly in front of me.
You're just basically staring at
I'm staring at, and it's not like they were offset a little bit. It was directly, like I had nowhere else to look.
Like you were trying to bike into her asshole.
Right, exactly. Like like her asshole is the carrot. And I'm trying to get a bite. Get that ass!
Why doesn't this move?
Get closer! So I'm trying to get, okay? So all I'm thinking is, Greg, you have to stop. You're going to fucking die. Okay? But she knew what she was doing. She was giving me a show. She's like doing the slow grind and the side hip to side and putting it up in the air so I could get I was just like, I couldn't leave. I was like, Greg, if you leave, you're not a man. Like, what man Okay, so I stuck it out through the fucking 45 minutes of this shit. And then I couldn't walk for 2 days. I could not, I literally could not. My legs I couldn't walk for 2 days. I stayed home because I couldn't make it up and down the stairs. It hurt that bad. And I was like, how stupid. So stupid.
On that note,
this has been the Battle of the Bulge.
It's a Jew and a Mexican. This has been the Battle of the Bulge episode of Jew and a Mexican. Stay tuned. Next week, we will, of course, be back with more tales.
What are we talking about next week? Do we know yet?
I don't know. Something cool.
Titties.
Titties. It'll be the highest rated episode ever. All right, we'll see you next week. Get in shape.